I'm already laughing. I haven't even started yet, and I'm already laughing. What's going on? How are we today? It is the first Monday. It is the first Monday of November of 2022. Exactly. Come on. Can you believe that? I'm so excited. So let me get your chat up. Um, what's going on? We are going to dive in today because the holidays, here they come. Ting, ting-a-ling. Are you ready? Are you ready for the holidays? Who's ready? Raise your hands. I can see you. No, I can't see you. But I am going to talk about the holidays today. I'm going to walk you through your secret weapons that you have to get you through the holidays. So I love doing these lives. They're really fun. We've been doing quite a few lately. I don't know if you guys have all been hip to it, but we have been doing lives because we just did our master classes and they were amazing. And I did some new stuff that I hadn't tried before. We did one-on-one coaching. It was awesome. So be that as it may, I want to dive in today because the holidays are coming and I want to give you some tools, or not give you because you already have them. I want to point out tools that you already have as a reader. And this might seem so back at might seem so backwards. It might seem so backwards that we're going to be using your tools that you use to read and analyze screenplays in your life, but that's one of I really feel like that's what sets Hollywood Gatekeepers apart, is that we do that. We take your skills that you have, that you love movies and that you love to read. Those are the two primary ones. And we use them in all kinds of different ways. There are so many things you can do with the skills that it takes to read and analyze screenplays. And I always feel a little funny because it always sounds so just, I don't know, kind of strange. But I just also firmly, passionately believe it. So I'm not going to shut up about it because I actually see it making a difference in people's lives. And that's all it takes. Once I see people like having better lives, I'm down. I'm down. I don't care if people are like, what are you talking about? So as you look, I'm going to actually have a handout and everything. It's very exciting. So I'm going to give that to you. Actually, I'm going to give that to you a bit later. Ooh, enticing. So, and then it will also be in the comments as you look. We have people watching on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So it will also, the handout will be in the comments. And you just log in and enter your name and email, and then you can get the handout. And we do that because we can track that way which handouts people like. It helps us deliver more good things. So most of you are already on our email list, and that's how you found out about this live to begin with. But if you're not, and you're just stumbling across us on YouTube and in the Facebook group, hello, I'm Carolyn J. Carpenter, one of the founders of Hollywood Gatekeepers, and we talk about how to read and analyze screenplays for your life because it makes your life better. It does. And so here's some of the examples that I want to give about this. One of the reasons why I talk about this so much is that as readers and as people who help writers and help producers get scripts to the screen, we want to live authentic lives. The more authentic we are and the more present we are to our life, and the more that we have a kind of not necessarily a happy, like we're not optimizing for everything's wonderful all the time, because that's not life, right? Life is messy and awful and tragic and beautiful and lovely and terrifying and so many things. And the more that we can live through those emotions, be present to them, the better storytellers we are. And the more that we can apply all the messiness of our lives into our stories, and we can really help writers create authentic stories. We can help producers get those authentic stories up onto the screen. And so this is why we talk about this so much within the Hollywood Gatekeepers programs. The more, just on one side of the coin, the more content and the more ability you have to manage your life, the easier you will be on that writer. When you're doing the coverage, the better your coverages will be, because they're coming from a place of upliftment as opposed to, oh, this script is terrible. We never do that here. But we want that kind of thing where your life is, you're not taking your angsty life out on the screenplay when you're analyzing it. And the other side of that is, like I said, to create these authentic screenplays, authentic stories that we can really help people move the needle on that. So I see people, welcome. Love all the hand waving. I love it. I love that you're on the list already. Perfect. Good Monday to all. Absolutely. Good Monday to you. That's a good expression I think we need to all incorporate. Well, good Monday to you. I'm going to start saying that, I think, every day, though. Good Tuesday to you. I like it. So as you go into the holidays, I think holidays are wonderful. And Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of all time because for obvious reasons. It's just such a beautiful sentiment that we take a day to really sit and be present to what we're thankful for. And I think that that's a good thing to do every day as you journal, to look for the new things every day that you're, are surprisingly grateful for, as much as, like I found this really nice lotion. I really like it. I'm super happy. So those little tiny things, and then, big, huge things that happen. I'm so grateful my film's going to come out soon. Like, there's big things and then the little things. And to me, they're all the same and equal. So as we look for these things, as we find ways to find gratitude in the next coming weeks, and those of you that are in Canada, you've already been doing that. So, and around the world, I know other people have different, I would love to hear if you have other ways that you celebrate. I would love to hear it. So as we go through the holidays and we start to realize, okay, we're going to be starting to travel perhaps, or people are coming to us, there's just this excitement, right? And what are you looking forward to about that? What are you looking forward to about the holidays? Who might you see? For those of you that follow us, I was in Montreal for a long time. I went to visit for 2 weeks, and then the pandemic hit and I stayed for almost 2 years. So that was a whole experience. Having snow, that was a big one. I'm a California girl. So having snow and being in that was like, I got to have 2 snowy Christmases. It was like amazing. So being able to experience that was something totally new and different. And so it was really exciting. And so, and now I'm home and it's like a little bit different. I'm back in California and now I'm having my sunshiny Christmas again, although it's raining today. So that helps. And so it's like, I'm like going to get my fireplace cleaned because it hasn't been cleaned for a while. I'm like, I'm going to crank that thing up. So it's like, what are the things that you're looking forward to? Who are the people that maybe you're looking forward to? There's some people I still haven't seen yet since being back. So like, what are the things for you? What are the people that you're looking forward to seeing? What are the traditions you're looking forward to? And then within that, what are you dreading? So let's not pretend that it's all going to be lovely. There's going to be moments of like, you go to see your family and they're just the experts. They're so good at pushing your buttons, right? Of knowing the things that get you, what are those scenarios too? Because those scenarios are very real. And the reason that we want to look at them, and then I'm going to remind you of the skills that you already have that you can use in these scenarios, is that it helps us live more authentic lives. It helps us be able to not face the holidays and do what Brooke Castillo calls, which I absolutely love, is buffering. She calls it buffering. And it's that idea that, oh, you can't face it. So instead, you're just going to sit on the couch and eat ice cream every day and just check out. Or you're just going to avoid people, or you're just going to cry. You're just going to curl up in a ball, or you're just going to avoid it and drink, or whatever it might be. Like sometimes we reach for things that aren't the best for us personally. So we're reaching for things to get through things, and then we're actually hurting ourselves in the process. So I want to give you a few tools so that when you do have those moments, as we go through the hustle and bustle and all the busyness and all of that has to do with not only just the holidays, but the transition into a new year. That's also, I love how much hope there is as people transition into the new year. That's one of my favorite things about New Year. It's one of the reasons why we also do happy half New Year, because we want halfway through the year to be like, we're halfway through, let's celebrate. We do it both times of year. And we do a lot of things in January. Keep an eye on your inbox and keep an eye on the YouTube channel and Facebook group and Instagram and all that, because we'll be sharing more things that we're doing to sort of help that transition into the new year, to help, booster that hope, really kind of tap into that kind of energy. But it's also really stressful. And it's kind of that idea of like, this time it's going to be different. My new year is going to be different. I'm going to let go of this. And, there's so many things that we put on ourselves, pressures that we put on ourselves. So it's not only just the holidays, and it also, people call it flu season, which is always kind of funny to me because, we're out more, we're seeing more people. And now, with pandemic and that kind of thing, we're also more stressed out, which makes us more susceptible to getting sick. And so I think it all goes hand in hand, right? And so if we can take a moment and like really like focus and like, give it some, okay, there's things I'm dreading. I can feel the knot in my stomach about a few things, and just being able to feel it and acknowledge it so that you don't do things that ultimately are worse for you than just feeling it, just being there. And so let's walk through some of the skills that you have. And I'm going to give you a handout so that you have this. Maybe you can print it out. You can post it on your fridge. I got the loveliest email from someone that said that she attended the masterclass, and then she took some of the things I talked about, which I'm going to talk about again here today, and she posted it on her fridge, and then she got a great job. And I'm so excited. And now she's got this job and she's making more money. She's going to join the programs. And she was just so thrilled. And it was like, I was just like, if anyone walks away from one thing that helps you move forward in your life from these sessions, life is grand. I mean, the fact that we can spend any time together, it's just, life is wonderful. So here are the skills that you already possess, or you wouldn't be in this group and you wouldn't be attracted to Hollywood gatekeepers. These are the skills that you already possess that are going to help you navigate not only holidays, but anything that's stressful, anything that comes your way that you're going to have to kind of, focus your way through. And one of those is that you have an active imagination. And this was what my new friend was mentioning inside her note about we talked about your imagination and how most people in this world, you use your imagination for worry. That is how most people use their imagination, right? You're in this group. So already, I think you're kind of like, you're doing good. That means that you use your imagination for other things as well. People that are in the arts, that are creating things, that are, really into movies and creation and art and dancing, all of that. I think if you have a creative mind, that helps with the worry thing because you can occupy yourselves with other things. And there are times, I've had times where I've had surgery, or I was at the dentist office the other day, is a perfect example. And I will sit, and I'm an actor as well, and I've memorized monologues, and I'll sit and review the monologues, or I'll write the next scene to the film that I'm working on right now. And I'll just sit there and like map out the scene and plan the dialogue while I'm at the dentist office, because it's a way that I can use my imagination for something other than, oh, is this going to hurt? And is this awful? And what's going to happen? And all of the fear that comes with having major dental work done that I recently had. So it's like having that ability to think about movies and think about other things, I think is a real gift. And I really want you to acknowledge yourself for that. You wouldn't be in this group if you didn't have that. So I do have a Blue Yeti mic. I love it. Works great. So as you think about what the holidays are bringing to you, as you think about the people you might see, the situations you might be in, a lot of people, they imagine scenario. That is your imagination, right? You're imagining scenarios and worrying about them. We're imagining all the terrible things that might happen. We're imagining all the awful things someone might say. We're imagining the response we might have. You start to imagine all of these things that might happen. And so being able to do that is understanding that is fine. It's fine that we do that. But for you, because you're tapped into your imagination in a different way, I just want you to be really aware of it and it's not real. When we imagine, and just like the past, when we think about the past and we bring it to the present, it's not real in that moment. It's over. It's already happened. And by pulling up old scenarios and putting them in the present, we're suddenly making it real in our present. And do we need to do that? I think there are things, and I don't want to negate, working through things that have happened in your past so that you might do things better or learn or whatever. But when we continuously do that and we continuously use our imagination to reimagine things in a negative way in our present, that's not helpful in some cases. There are times when it can be, you can work through it. But in general, can you take that moment? Maybe you've had some past thing that's happened and you're about to go see that person again or whatever. Can you rewrite that moment? It's not real anyway anymore. It's all happened. Just rewrite it that it went a different way. And I'm not saying that you want to stick your head in the sand and you want to like pretend, but you can calm your nervous system by doing that. You can take scenarios and rewrite them. I had one time had a really painful exchange conversation, and it really bothered me for a long time. And so every time I remember that thing, I just put a balloon hat on the other person in my memory, so that the balloon hat was like super creative and it was wobbling around as they were saying the terrible things that they had been saying. And it really like lessened, because it became sort of funny, obviously, and it kind of mocked it in a way. And it helped me be able to process that memory in a different way. And I think it really, when you can do that and you sort of rewrite it, it doesn't mean that you're denying that it went that way or that these things were said or whatever, but it can take some of the heartbreak out of it. So then you can manage it a little bit better, and you can create new things with that imagination. And you can imagine that maybe next time it will go a different way. And you can use that same imagination that we use to create worry to create a different scenario. And this kind of goes into the fact that you are a writer. You're a writer or you wouldn't be here. All readers are writers. Some people like try to pretend that's not true, but it is. So if you're a reader and you analyze screenplays, you have to write the analysis, what's called coverage, kind of like a book report. So if you're new to us, that's what readers do. They read a screenplay, they analyze it, they write down what they think about it in the thing called coverage, which is like a book report. So you have to be able to write. But that is such a secret weapon. It's such a great skill. The fact that you can write Rewrite scenes, like literally go down and write it out. Type it out. Type out the scene that happened and rewrite it. Why not? What do you have to lose? Think about the conversation you're going to have and write it. Write what they said. And then the other thing that happens when you do that, and this is the next one, is that you create interesting characters, even out of the people that you know and love. So you can then rewrite the scene of what happened, and you can step into their shoes in a way. And you can step into their shoes and you can sort of write the scene, and then suddenly this, I hate to break it to you, but suddenly their perspective might become a little more clear to you. And in that, if that could unleash some compassion. So when you start to like really take your skills as a writer, as a story analyst, as someone who loves movies, who watches movies, and put your in your imagination, put the scenes that you're have been through, put the scenes that you're going to go through, and put them up on the screen in your head. Rewrite them in your head and see what happens. See what things come out of people's mouths that either didn't or that might. Like really start to think about, how might this person respond? And if I were going to write this scene out and I were going to be that person, what might I say? Because what you're doing there is then you're also getting into subtext, which is the thought behind what someone says. If I say I love you to my dog and I say I love you to my grandmother, they're going to be very different ways that I say I love you to my dog. It's different, right? That's because the subtext is different. My subtext with my dog is like, you're the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that's what's happening in my brain as I say I love you to my dog. When people had a little bit too much to drink and they're, I love you so much. That whole thing, they're like, just like, I don't feel so good. Like there's so many things happening in the subtext that's happening. Other thoughts, that's what subtext is all of the thoughts that we have behind the things that we say. We all have subtext all the time. We're judging. You're judging me right now. You're judging you. You're judging things that you're seeing, that you're hearing. You're now judging the people that I'm reminding you of as I talk about people in your past and your future, whatever. We constantly do that. All of that stuff that's going on, that's subtext. And so if you were to rewrite a scene from your past or future pace and write something that might be happening in your holidays, write that scene out. Then, and especially if you have someone in your family maybe that drives you a little bit bonkers and you know that you're going to have to spend the day with them or whatever, you can write the scene out ahead of time and just exaggerate them put them on full tilt. Put all the things that they do that bother you full out, like give it to them. Let them be a Judd Apatow character and let them be like as outrageous as you can possibly make them. Because what happens is that then when you actually see them, the exaggerated version that you created, they're going to be nothing like to that. They're never going to be to that level of crazy that you've deemed for them. And it will help you be able to manage how they are. And it also, as you create this exaggerated version of the people that drive you bananas, as you do that, you might end up having a little more compassion for them because you're going to step in their shoes even more. So you're a storyteller. This is another one of your secret weapons that you have. And so you can tell whatever story you want. You can make it mean whatever you want. As we have conversations, as we meet people, as we go through things, we are meaning makers. That's why people love movies. We make meaning out of everything. If someone was supposed to call you and they haven't, how many stories do you write, storyteller? How many stories do you write about the reason that they didn't call you? Well, they hate me. Or maybe they're super busy. Well, I hope they're okay. Maybe they got in a car accident. Maybe they're sick. Maybe maybe they lost my email. Maybe they don't have their phone. Like, how many stories can we create about someone just because they didn't get back to us on an email? And I've seen that where then when you reconnect or you figure out why you hadn't been connecting, and then sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm so relieved because I thought maybe, and they have all these stories that they've been telling. We need to make meaning of things. And if you have a conflict with someone and you're not sure what's going on with them, your imagination will fill in the gaps just naturally. We just need to make meaning out of things. That's kind of who we are as a species. We need to we need to put things together. And so as you do that, what meaning can you make of this story? Now you can choose it. If you're aware of it, choose it. You don't have to go down the path of all the random weird meaning that we make of things. You can be like, I'm going to choose that it means this. This is my choice. It means that whatever, and come up with something. So if someone is treating you terribly, it means that they're scared, or it means that they're hurting right now, or it means that they're not even thinking about me, which is usually the case. People think about you far less than you think they do. I hate to break break it to you. We're all thinking about ourselves as much as we want to pretend that we're super altruistic and only think about other people. Even in that world where we are thinking about other people, it's part in part because how good it makes us feel, right? So we are always present to how we feel and who we are and all of that. And none of that changes who you are, no matter what's happening around you, no matter what you're going through in the holidays, you're still you. You can breathe. You can do some tools where you can just kind of like, take a water bottle, toss it back and forth, or a ball or something. If you're feeling really stressed out, bring a little ball to Christmas or bring a little ball to your holiday celebration, whatever it might be. Toss it back and forth. Give as gifts, give everybody something that they can toss back and forth because they're feeling it too, right? And writing these scenes and understanding this, there's something about your nervous system. The reason I say this is there's something about your nervous system that if you take anything, even just like, I don't know, let me find some scissors. No running with scissors. Okay, this little tape. And I just do this. There's something about your brain can't do that and worry at the same time. This is how limited we are. And it's like, oh, I need to catch that thing, squirrel. And by doing that, it can really help you kind of regulate your nervous system in those moments. So just finding those times. And I have a brother that he doesn't do it anymore, but we had some pretty dramatic Christmases in my childhood, and he's much older than I am. And he started reading, like he would bring a book and he would sit and read. And I used to be like, what the heck? And I get all mad. And then later I started to go, that's actually kind of interesting. And the interesting thing that would happen is then for Christmas, what did people start giving him for Christmas? Books. So classic. Like everybody just stepped in line and gave him books so that for sure he could be reading. And so then he never had to engage because he just sat there reading. Like that's some instinctual, I have to tell him about that because I think he'd appreciate that now. That's some instinctual self-care right there. That was how he disconnected, but he was still there, present, would look up, engage, and go back to his book, usually a comic book. God love him. So it's like, now I'm really appreciating that even more now. But that, it's so great, right? That was him self-caring. What can you do? What can you give people little puzzles? Anything to distract their mind into something else. I even put this as one of your secret weapons. This is coming to me right now. But it is like that idea that what are things that you can engage with? This is why games are so fun to play, because it engages us in something other than having to relate to each other about our lives. We can just engage and we can connect and we can bond and we can love each other, because that's really what we want to do. We can love each other over whatever we're doing in that moment. It doesn't have to be about whatever thing you did to me that I can't forgive you for. It can just be about being together. And so we have these moments and we don't want to deny that they're coming. We don't want to deny that they're there. But we can approach them with a bit more grace. We can approach them with these tools. And so your tools, I'm just going to kind of rattle them off, and then I'll give you the handout so that you can dive in and you could put this on your refrigerator or whatever. And it kind of walks you through some of them too. Basically, the idea that you have an active imagination, use it for good. Don't use it for worry. Try not to. And just catch yourself if you do. And, hopefully this will help you have some humor about it. Catch yourself and be like, oh, look at me go. Okay, storyteller, let's write a different story about this, right? That you're a writer, that you want to create interesting characters. So you can create you can bring in new characters to the scene that's not actually going to be there, but you can kind of create things. You can combine people. You can do whatever you want. That's your imagination, right? That you're a storyteller and that we tell stories all the time, every day we're telling stories. So can you control that narrative a bit? And then the fact that you're creative, like really, really, for evil. Oh wait, Anson, we haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. So good to see you. Yeah, for evil. And it doesn't surprise me. The horror lover. So yeah, what I meant was for good. But you know what? You could write your stories, write that horror script, get it out of your head. And then when you show up, you're going to show up in a much more calm, in a much more present, and you'll have a different kind of sensibility and a sense of humor about it. When I was first studying these things and I would show up to situations that I knew were going to be challenging, I used to be like, they can't take my peace. They can't take my peace before I would go in like meditating. And that was my mantra. And it helped for sure. Now, to me, that's a little bit anxiety producing in a way, because it was like I felt a lack of peace as I was saying that. So being able to try to really sit in it and feel so peaceful that they really can't take your peace, and you don't need to remind yourself of that every few minutes. Although it did help for sure. And so being able to have those moments of being able to show up, and then once you write these scenes ahead of time, when you do show up, I really think they won't play out in the same way. You'll be different, and you'll be amazed how when you're different, the ripple effect that happens. When you look at these things and you can find these moments like this, honestly, everything can change in an instant. It's kind of amazing when you're able to say, and this is a really good one that my coach has taught me, the idea that that's over now. When you can say to yourself, this is how I used to respond, it doesn't mean I have to respond this way now. That's over. That even you don't, again, I don't want to deny, that's different. It's not like you want to stick your head in the sand and pretend like nothing ever bad happened or whatever if you have issues with people. However, the angst and the drama and the trauma and whatever happened during that time is technically over. The thing is not happening anymore. So let's not try to drag it into the present and keep it alive. Being able to say, that's over. I'm now healing. I don't have to respond in that way anymore. I can choose something different. And when you have these kinds of mantras where you can make a different choice, the instant of everything can change. And it can be like, I've learned this now. This is who I am now. This is how I respond now. And you can be far more present in how you choose to respond. And when you do that, and you'll slip back for sure, you'll have these moments and you'll not be your best self. We all do it every once in a while. But even in the moment, I had one of these a couple of weeks ago where I kind of walked away like, I was not very nice in that moment. I could have been nicer. And that was something my mom used to say all the time too. I could have been nicer. And so I don't even know if that's good grammar, which is great because she was a second grade teacher. But being able to say, okay, I was not my best self in that moment, but recognizing it and then I gave myself some grace, and I actually apologized to someone saying that wasn't very nice. I was joking, but it came across kind of like I wasn't joking and I didn't mean it that way. And so I wanted to make sure that they understood that I saw it, I owned it. I walked away, I forgave myself, told them I was sorry, and then moved on. So being able to, you're going to have those moments, just be gentle with you and others and just keep going, right? I love writing a new script before the event, right? Create a pathway to something different. You really can. Hello. You really can create a pathway to something different. And when you do that, the ripple effect is really interesting with the people around you. They'll respond. Most people will respond when one person changes. And sometimes they respond and flip out, and then your scene becomes even more interesting, right? And think about it when you're in the moment too. You can also be looking at this going, ooh, this is going to be a good scene for later. You're a writer. It's your skill. It's your secret weapon. You can take whatever happens. You can go back and write about it. I mean, how many great writers pull things from their life? Like, write what you know. That's a whole thing, right? So you can pull these scenarios. You can change the names to protect the not so innocent, and you can rewrite it later. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this helps create a ripple effect in your life. I'm going to pop over to Instagram in about half an hour or so, and we'll do this all over again. New things always pop up when we do this because I have something that I'm following, but I also like the whole thing with my brother and reading. I can't wait to call him and tell him this realization that I have, and commend him for his self-care in that moment, and the whole idea of bringing puzzles and giving people actual gifts that help them. They won't even know that you're helping them with their own self-care in those moments. Giving those kinds of gifts, whenever you're getting together for any kind of holiday that could be stressful, being able to self-care people serendipitously. that'll be our little secret. That you're giving people these gifts that are helping them sort of regulate so that they're not reaching for things that are not helpful to them in the long run, right? So I love it. So I can't wait. I want to hear your stories. I would love it if you share in the Facebook group. If you have a scenario that you're dreading or that you want to rewrite, feel free to share it. I would love to hear your take on it when you come back, and just have a beautiful end to your year. We do have another First Monday, the first week of December. I can't wait to get back together again with you. And I'm going to be doing some other live things and some more stuff. So keep an eye on the Facebook group, on the YouTube channel, on Instagram, and then on your emails. And we'll be announcing all kinds of cool stuff that we have happening. And then we are diving into 2023 2023. Can you believe that? We are diving into 2023 in a big way. And so I can't wait to share some of the stuff that we have going on for that. I'm glad it was helpful. Awesome. I can't wait to hear and see what you guys do. And I also cannot wait to call my brother. So I'll share in the Facebook group what he had to say about it. And then you follow along. All right, you guys. So lovely to see you. Thanks for coming today. Let me give you the hand drop. Oh, I almost forgot. You don't want to forget. Hang on here. So here's the handout. So you'll see, hold on, let me grab it, put it in the chat. Can I put things in the chat? Oh, I can't put things in the chat. I don't think. Let me try. I don't think it goes into the Facebook group. So it's hollywoodgatekeepers.com. What I can do is show it. There we go. Hollywood DIY, like do it yourself, Hollywood DIY. So when you click on that, you'll see that you enter your name and email address, and that helps us know that you like the handout. And so we'll do more like that. And then you can see, I just made the things that I just went through. I made it so that you can print it out and help, put it somewhere that's helpful for you. Maybe put it in your, fold it up or make a little version of it and take it with you wherever you have to go. And just to remind yourself that you have these skills. You're a creative person. You have an active imagination. You are a writer. You love telling stories. You can create really wonderful characters. Good. Glad it's in the chat. I'm glad you got it. Thank you. Thank you, Anae, for helping out and putting that in there. I love it. So you guys can download that. Take it with you. I hope it's helpful to you. And you'll see also when you get to that page, there's all kinds of other handouts in there. And so you can kind of look at those too, if you want to. So lovely to be here with you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you want to pop over on Instagram and see what happens there, who knows what might happen over there. Looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to our next one. And keep an eye. We'll be doing so many more things. So lovely to see you guys. Thanks for attending. We'll talk to you soon.